Real story, I heard it from Rav Fengel. And it's one of those stories, like I said, it's Ashgacha Pratit. Now, the story source is from a sefer called Ki'amcha Kolam, who has extraordinary stories, and the author of the book says that he goes and he verifies these stories. He says there's a American Jew named Chaim who made Aliyah, and after he just had some self-accounting, asking himself, what makes you Jewish? He was only 17 years old, 16 years old. What makes you Jewish? You don't keep this, you don't keep that. So what if you were in Holocaust? So what if you had difficulties? So what is all this stuff? So what if your mom's a Jew? None of that stuff really makes you a Jew today. That's your past, that's your customs, that's your struggles, that's your, but what makes you a Jew today? He said, okay, you know what? In order to express my Judaism, I'm going to make Aliyah. I'm going to go live in Israel. So, he goes to Israel, and he goes to one of the kibbutzim. In the kibbutzim, they don't exactly teach you Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz, and they don't feed you exactly kosher food. But one of the things that kibbutzim are good for, at the time at least, they were good, he says, they were good at helping traumatized Holocaust survivors that weren't able to go back into society for obvious reasons, especially the ones that were victims of the Malach HaMavet, also known as Mengele, who did all types of awful experiments on Jewish people. I had a book, or still have a book, I read different experiments, Hashem Yishmo. May you never know such things. Anyway, so many of the Holocaust survivors were traumatized, not just for this, but for other things. And this Chaim says that one of the people in the older guys in the kibbutz was the guy everyone called Zalman. Called him Zalman. Now, he says Zalman wasn't really his name, but everybody called him Zalman because he didn't talk. Says Zalman was a Holocaust survivor. Holocaust survivor. And you see every time, you'd raise, if you had a long sleeve, you raise his shirt. You see over here the numbers. 4776. So, one day Chaim, the young 17-year-old, says, I woke up, I don't feel like going to eat. So I figured, let me just go jump on one of the tractors, go get to work already. Gets on the tractor, goes into the field, gets some apples, comes back to go put the apples in the grinder, so they make sauce out of these things, big machines. And he tries to unload directly from the tractor into the machine, and it's not working, it's stuck. So he goes back, presses the button, sees it's not working, he starts smashing on it, not working. So he climbs the thing, and all of a sudden the whole thing collapses, and he and the apples fall into the grinding machine, Hashem Yishmo. He and the apple fall into the grinding machine. And he's screaming, and he sees there's only a few apples separating him from the knives, from the death. And he's screaming his lungs out, but to no avail, no one can hear him. Everyone is eating or doing something. And his leg goes into the grinding machine. And he says the amount of pain I had at that moment was not something that you could even quantify. But as soon as I thought that I'm just going to continue dying in this way, all of a sudden these great hands that I thought were the hands of the Malach HaMavet suddenly grab me and pull me out. And all I can see is 4776. And then I pass out. I wake up in the hospital. suffering, pain. But all I can think of is 4776. They have to amputate the leg, but I can think of 4776. Anywhere as time would have it, says decide to move forward with my aspiration to be more Jewish. I apply for a Jewish citizenship, Israeli citizenship. The ID comes in the mail, and as you would have it, first four numbers of the ID, 4776. I thought it's an interesting coincidence. 4776 saved me. 4776 is here on this ID. Stuck with me. Interesting. He says, met a woman, got married, started doing TeShuva, got more and more religious, decided to move to one of the religious neighborhoods in Eretz Yisrael, in Mea Shearim, and they ordered a phone line. In those days, the phone line would have to come to your house, and they'd say, okay, they would make all the wires, and they say, hey, this is your phone number. As soon as the guy gives them a piece of paper with the phone number, he passes out. His wife wakes him up and says, what happened? He says, you're never going to believe it. What? 4776. He goes, what do you mean 4776? He tells him everything I just told you guys. And then he shows her, look, our phone number, the last four numbers of the phone number, 4776. Wow. Okay, life goes on. He keeps seeing this thing different ways, but these things stand out in his mind. He was a taxi driver. And one day he gets a call that, listen, there's somebody at the airport wants you to pick him up. Okay. Goes to the airport, it's a good ride, can make the day's wage on this one or two rides like this. Sees an American Jew, older, about 75 years old. Comes in the car, and he says, okay, take me to Tel Aviv. Okay, sir, Tel Aviv. He starts driving from the airport, and this American sparks up a nice Cuban cigar in his taxi. So he's a little bit annoyed, even though he smokes cigarettes himself. Instead of smoking in the car, he says, you know what, maybe I'm going to smoke, and he's not going to like my smoke, and we're both not going to like each other's smoke. Maybe we'll stop smoking that way. So he takes out a cigarette, and all of a sudden, the guy from the back seat, with no shame whatsoever, says to him, hey, sir, you want a light? So he says, yeah, I want a light. So he turns over to get the light, because the guy's in the back seat. And the guy reaches to him with the lighter. And as you can see, when you reach out, your shirt pulls up, and he sees what? 4777. All of a sudden, he's shocked. It's not 4776. It's close though. What's going on here? And he asks the guy, anybody in your family survived the Holocaust? The guy says, no, nobody. He says, you sure? He pulls over the car. He goes, yeah, I'm sure. He says, nobody? He goes, listen, I killed everybody in front of me except I had a brother, but we were both online to go to Mengele. And he was in front of me. He went in, so surely he didn't survive. I was 477. I was behind him. Chaim did the counting. In his mind, there's something going on here. He turns around in the middle of the highway. He starts driving. The guy says, hey, where you going? He goes, shut up, I'm going, so I'll take you somewhere good. The American has no idea what's going on, but he goes with it. He's driving. Where's he driving? He's driving to the kibbutz. He hasn't been in the kibbutz in years, many years. He has no idea if Zalman is still there. But he says, I gotta try. He gets all the way to the kibbutz as you would have it at that moment. As he's pulling into the kibbutz, Zalman is sweeping in front of one of the dormits. One of the places. He's sweeping. He tells the guy, get out of the car. He goes, no, I'm not getting out. Guy has no idea what's going on. He goes, get out of the car. He goes, I'm not getting out. He gets out of the car. Chaim gets out of the car, opens the trunk, takes all of the guy's luggage and throws it on the floor. The guy gets upset. He gets out of the car. He goes, now that you're out of the car, come with me. He takes him, brings him next to Zalman, takes both of their sleeves and says, look. The two men look at each other's numbers, then look at each other, and Zalman says, Soli, you're still alive? And Soli says, Mendel, you too? And they start hugging and crying hysterically, because they both thought that the other one is dead for years. And Chaim finally understands what we only wish to understand. Ishtabach Shemo La'ad. Chaim finally understands how much Ashgacha Pratit we have in our life. How much Ashgacha Pratit we have in our life. He thought, okay, the 4776, it's nice, it's coincidence. There is no coincidence, Habibi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, already when they were on the line in the Holocaust, about to be murdered in the most vicious ways, HaKadosh Baruch Hu already had a pitaron, already had a solution of how these two young boys are one day going to make up, get together, meet up, get together again as old men. But they're going to get together. How? He's going to use you as a vessel. And you're going to have to go to all the types of different things in order to become that vessel. Rabotai Karim, when a person understands what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says in the Torah, it's not such a milestone. Why? Hashem is very clear what he wants, what he doesn't want. When a person does what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, that's a milestone. But when a person does what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, even if he doesn't understand, that's even a bigger milestone. Why? It means you're tamim with Hashem. You're simple with Hashem. You simply stick with Hashem no matter what. You understand, you don't understand, you have questions, you don't have questions. You know that Hashem surely has the answers, even if you don't even know what questions you have yet. BeEzrat Hashem, this too will give us the chizuk that we all need, to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching. He cares, He monitors, and He loves all those that follow Him. Please, Rabotai, it's enough that we follow all the Baalim of the Ashterot and all the other garbage of the world. It's time for each one of us to dedicate all of us to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We continue working, we continue doing a lot of things, but everything beyond the minimum requirement of what we need to do with everything else has to be for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? That's what's going to save us, that's what's going to save our loved ones, and that's what's going to save our people altogether. If we start caring about all of Klal Yisrael's TeShuva, that in itself is not only helping them, but it's helping us do TeShuva ourselves. BeEzrat Hashem, we each do our TeShuva by caring about the rest of Am Yisrael, because surely HaKadosh Baruch Hu does. And anyone that cares about his kids surely becomes one of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's favorite. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'amen.